Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Heart-Pounding Heroine stage against my future. Now, as with all of the Heart-Pounding Heroine stages, there are a little bit of gimmicks involved, but this one's a bit more straightforward actually than a lot of the other ones. So let's talk a little bit about the event and we'll talk about the team build. But yeah, to cut a long story short, so we have my future and a bunch of resistance force members. They hit relatively hard, 550k. I think my can super for like 1.7 mil. It's not super easy, but generally what I do here is I use a Whis. So I just use a Whis. You can clear these guys out pretty easily. All of them are not tanky. Even my, she's only got like 35 million health or whatever. It's not a very tanky situation. Don't bother bringing AoE. You don't need it for the next phases. So this one, I just use Whis, solve my life, make my life easier. If I'm feeling a bit brave, I won't use Whis because it just depends on my lineup. Depends on how I'm feeling about the situation. You can very easily start to take them out. So if you have a unit that can tank at the first slot and you can just take out one or two of them, it actually becomes quite easy. So that's entirely up to you. Treat that stage however you will. There's not anything too crazy there. Then we go into the second phase against Trunks' teen future and my future. This unit is strength type, but also only has 4 turns that they're up. So they only exist for 4 turns. They're very tanky. They have like 15 million defense, 70% damage reduction, a lot of health, like 250 mil. They're very, very tanky. They also hit for 2.6 million with their super, which is not very enjoyable. They also have a high percentage to super. I think they super in 1 in every 5. You're going to need to seal them. So your trick or technique for the second phase is to seal them, stun them, debuff them. You can do whatever. You have to survive 4 turns. So bringing a sealer, bringing a stunner, very important. And then you go to the final phase, which is against AGL, my future. Now she does not super for 3 turns. So you have guaranteed 3 turns against her. She hits relatively hard, like 800k. She's relatively tanky, but the big thing is at the end of those 3 turns, she will fire a super attack that does 800 million damage. Yep, you heard that right. 800 million. You are not meant to survive it. She even disables evasion, so it's very hard to live with. However, there are a couple ways around this, and this is now where we talk about team build. So the team build I am using is a Universe 6 USS team. So I'm using a AGL Kale as my lead. I'm bringing Tech Hit. Yeah, I know, Tech Hit. He does a great job. He stuns in the early phase, he stuns in the second phase, and he can survive attacks and do a bit of damage in the final phase. Int Vardos, also very, very good. So evasion, very helpful for the first 2 phases. Support as well, increasing our damage, which we need for the final phase against Mai. And also she seals and debuffs. So you can debuff the Mai in the last phase, which is also important to just help out, take the edge off of her normal damage. And then we have the standard big hitters. So we have Strength Kefla. One of the major reasons why I went with this team, obviously her, Kale, Kalifla, all of them, Pepe Gals, solves a lot of the problems. Remember, Infados doesn't count, so you need 4 other units. Strength Kefla, absolutely demonstrous damage dealer, absolutely crucial towards this whole thing working out, just massive. We save a Whis for the final phase, not because she used a liability, but just to play it safe. AGL Kale also does very good damage. Pair her up with Kefla, you're going to get a lot of damage done. You'll need to make sure you get the orbs for Kefla. Vardos should help with that, with creating rainbow orbs, but that's the only thing I'll say. You need to make sure you do that. Then, okay, we have Tech, Kalifla, and Strength Kale. Very good as well. They do well the whole way through. Tech Kalifla, very evasive. Strength Kale, very, very good. So all of that works out really nicely for us. Functions really, really well. Team works. At that point, though, obviously, we have a problem. What if we don't finish it in 3 turns? Well, we'll finish it in 3 turns because we're bringing with us the Tech MUI Goku. You can just run him off rotation until you get to the final phase, and there you're going to want to activate his active skill. Very crucial to activate his active skill. It is absolutely important. You know, for me, it's very, very, very important. So yeah, I think for me overall, it's really, really something, yeah, that helps. Like the timing of his active skill is huge. He does big damage with his counters, and he disables evasion. So if you need a last YOLO roll of the dice, you haven't been able to defeat her, stick Kefla in the back slot, or Vados, or anyone who can dodge, and just pray that they dodge. Chances are they probably will. Just don't stick anyone there who you're trying to just tank. I think it's just not something that's going to work out. Yeah, so yeah, I think for me overall, like, how can I say, for me overall, I would probably say that in general, there is like a good incentive here to do like a nice team build. I think Tech Goku really helps with that. I think Universe 6, because of that, by extension, is probably the best Pepe Gals variant to take this on. There are a good Pepe Gals variant for a lot of the challenges, because, you know, they just have so much good raw stats and things like that. But especially here, where it's a lot more akin to like a traditional red zone, I think it is something that matters a lot, at least for me. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That is it. Obviously, we took her out. Very cool. I think it was a cool, fun, like, event. It was tough. Definitely was not super easy, but I actually found it easier than the Videl one, because the Videl one's got a very interesting gimmick to it. Whereas this, like I said, you know, outside of, you know, getting absolutely exploded by Mai, it's just kind of like a DPS race. It's not really like anything crazy with it, you know. It's just one of those things. So yeah, for me this was a lot of fun, but I would say it was not as crazy as, you know, some might think. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Honestly speaking, really fun, but probably the most straightforward of these Heart-Pounding Heroine events. I will say that. So yeah, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your team build, or if you need more help, down in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.